Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar.
Asante sana kwa kukubali kujiunga nasi. Bila shaka namna tulivyokuahidi kwamba tukirejea basi tutakuwa darasani kujifunza kuhusiana na namna tunapima udongo uhitajika kule shambani. Uenda umekosea, utafanya namna gani kurejelea hali yako? Ni wewe kusalia nasi, andamana nasi hadi tufike tamati ili usome sana yale ambayo utasahau, andika mahali ili baadaye urejelee, ili utakapokwenda kutekeleza basi utakuwa radhi kufanikisha.
Alright, kwa hivyo uchukue kalamu yako, karatasi, uandike kisha utekeleze baadaye. Na ule ambaye atakuwa anakupa hayo mawaidha is Mr. Bernard Ndungu, all the way from Fadhili, Africa. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. Wakulima wako on standby, they just want to learn from you. And I want us to get right into the conversation. We are talking about the soil health, and also we are talking about different conditions of maize. From ule amefanya kazi nzuri kwa ule ambaye hakufanya kazi nzuri kabisa kwa shamba. And now when you're speaking about maize farmers ambao their planting season is in March, tumeona wengi sana they're planting around this time. Kwa ule mtu anataka sasa kufanya soil testing, what is the right time for them to do it? And just for instance, I do it, let's say, at some point this year. After how long again am I supposed to engage the services of a soil expert to test my soil again?
Thank you, Gena, very much because of that question. And we always say that the best time to do soil testing is 1 month before you plant, so that we start taking the rectification processes. By the time then you are starting to do the planting, you have the right conditions that will be able to support the growth of that crop and give you the yield, because we are doing all this work to be able to generate very good yield as a farmer and also generate good income. The question about when, how often should you be able to do soil testing? What we tell the farmer is that each crop has genetic potential. So for many years, many farmers in the country have not been testing their soil. They have not been achieving the genetic potential. And so we go through a stage by stage to make sure that the farmer is increasing the yield, and we'll be able to see when we look at the maize that we have before us, because the fertility is at different levels. But when the farmer is able to achieve the genetic potential, then we do the soil testing after every 2 to 3 years to just make sure that we have very good soil.
Right. So we are March and February.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
Okay.
Bwana, karibu sana. Lakini swali langu ni kuhusiana na wakati unakwenda kufanya soil test. Safari yako inaanzia wapi ukifika shambani?
So safari yangu nikifika kwa shambani, kitu ya kwanza ni kuchukua sample, na sample tunachukuanga mahali tofauti tofauti, na tuko na zile vifaa zenye tunatumia kuchukua sample. Kwa mimi niko na kifaa kidogo hapa inaitwa the soil auger, ambayo ni chuma tunadunga chini, tunachukua mara kadhaa kwa shamba. We make sure that you're able to get about a kilo for every 2 acres. 2.5 acres, and then we'll be able to take this sample kwa laboratory. Na kwa sisi wenye tuko na hizi vifaa kama hii tunaita the soil scanner, tunakuja na laboratory kwa shamba, tunapima na tunaweza kukutolea results tukiwa kwa shamba.
So what should you observe? Ukienda kwa shamba, uko tayari kuchukua mchanga yako, you said you take from different parts of the farm. Lakini kuna those specific parts in the farm ambayo hufai kuchukua hiyo mchanga when you're doing soil testing. Please talk to us about those spaces in the farm that you should avoid and why as well.
Asante sana. Kuna zile sehemu huwezi kuchukua sample. Example ni pale mkulima amekuwa akiweka manyua yake. Tunajua manyua inaingiza the nutrients kwa mchanga, so we avoid those areas. We also avoid areas that have had soil erosions. Maybe kuna maji lipitia hapo, weed erosions. Tunajua ile mchanga ambayo iko na high fertility imeshabebwa. Pia kuna zile nafasi tuna wakulima huwa wanapitia the pathways. We avoid the footpaths, keep 1 meter away from the footpath, and also keep 1 meter away from the border areas. Because this soil is not yours. It's actually the soil that is brought in by the...
Is there any particular reason why sometimes we're also told to avoid the soil under the crop?
Yes, the soil under the crop, we also avoid taking under the crop.
Why?
Remember that the feeder roots are actually at where we have the drip line. Pale maji inamwagikia, hapo ndio feeder roots ziko. Tukikuja karibu, basi tunakuwa na shida ya kupata the right content.
Okay. Right.
Sasa tuanze kule sasa kwenye naona tayari umepanga mahindi yako. Nini inafanyika pale?
Asanti, tunaona kwa hii mahindi. So we can see kuna part zenye hazikupata mahindi. Hii ni ishara ya kwamba hii shamba kuna deficiency iko nayo. Na sana sana tukiona kama hii tunajua kuna nutrients kama vile boron. Unakuta boron is the one that facilitates the movement of the pollen, and therefore that area did not get. Kuna zingine pale utaona hii ingine iko na different spaces, so this is boron. Ukiona na ingine hapa iko na shida
ushike kakitu
hii iko na shida ya zinc.
Okay.
And this is why we test soil to identify.
This is zinc.
There is zinc here, and there is also lack of boron.
Zinc and boron for this one.
Yes.
I'm very concerned because when we're learning about the nutrients of maize, we have the macronutrients, got micronutrients, then we have the trace elements. And zinc and boron is part of the trace element. So for me, and I think I'm just thinking as a newbie farmer, I'm like, trace element, since hata itakikani sana, maybe nisipoweka haina effect kubwa. But when I look at this maize, then the effects are devastating. How important are those that we are calling trace elements in crop maize nutrition?
So different crops have different impacts when it comes to trace elements. So like maize and coffee, zinc and boron are very critical. Okay. So different crops have different preferences because they play very different roles. So like maize, you can see the impact. We can lose a lot in our farms.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Swali ambalo linajitokeza kama mkulima amesema yeye atakuwa kama mgeni. Nitajuaje kwamba mahindi yangu yamekosa hayo yote ambayo umeyataja, kwa sababu sitakuwa mtaalamu katika shamba langu?
So that's why we encourage the farmer kwanza afanye soil testing. Ukifanya hiyo comprehensive soil testing, tunaweza kujua ni element gani, madini gani zinakosekana kwa shamba lake.
Right.
Na hapo ndipo tunaweza kumpatia what we call crop specific recommendations. So by the time huyu mkulima anaenda kununua fertilizer, ananunua ile fertilizer inafaa kwa shamba lake.
I want us to talk to two categories of farmer. Kuna ule ambaye ataenda atanunua chemical fertilizers, and there's that farmer who's entirely doing organic farming. So you as an expert, you come and test my soil and you realize, okay, you're lacking either the macronutrient or the pH of the soil is not ideal. Do you treat these two farmers differently in terms of even giving them advice and what they need to do? How do you address these two farmers? Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get high yields. Lakini huyu anatumia chemical fertilizers, huyu anatumia organic manure. How do you address these two categories of farmers?
So how we address this is that farmers, the crop, because our focus is the crop.
Right.
The crop requires the nutrient. And so what we do from laboratory point of view is to give farmer recommendations, whether they are from organic or from chemical fertilizers, but they must have the nutrients that are required. So us is to advise that direction. And we have seen farmers, even if they are doing organic, we like now we will only be looking for an organic fertilizer that have zinc or boron as part of its composition.
Okay. Yeah. Wakati tunatoka kule kulikuwepo na madhara mengi sana, lakini angalia katika kitengo cha pili utagundua kwamba kuna ufupi kwa mahindi yetu, si marefu namna tunatarajia. Shida ipo wapi?
Hapa kwa hii kiwango ya pili, the nutrients are not in the light quantities.
Okay.
Yeah? And we normally say that nutrition accounts for 60% of crop production. And that's something that's basic for every farmer.
Right.
60% is nutrients. And if, ukiangalia hii, unaona begu zake ni dogo. The maize size is very small in comparison to ile ingine. So what we do is we encourage farmers to ensure that they're able to supply nutrients in the right quantities from the right sources at the right time. Timing is very, very important. Unaona kama kwa mahindi, hizi nutrients, hizi tunasema sana sana hizi macronutrients, lazima ipate. Kama phosphorus, it must have 60%, at least 60% in the first 60 days. Right. Otherwise, you have lost the harvest.
Right.
The crop are so unforgiving.
Great.
So, kwa hii lazima to make sure imepata nutrient wakati unafaa na kwa kiwango inafaa.
All right, and then now we have stage 3 here.
Yeah, stage 3 is where we have different deficiencies. You see, kwa kama yenye tuko nayo hapa, unaona kwa hii mahindi, Mungu alitupatia the size of the crop, but hatukuifeed venye inafaa. Unaona hii kulingana na utaalamu wangu, around the phosphorus was supplied in small quantities.
Right. And
that is why you can see about a third you have some good maize, then all the rest is in very small quantities. You don't get the right quality and also the quantity is compromised.
Right.
Ukiangalia hii ingine, unaona imebakia the part of the maize cob ni kubwa.
Right.
So the farmer has already lost around 30% because they did not supply nitrogen in light quantities during the growing phase.
Great. Okay. So now when we are looking at what has been happening across the country during this planting season, tumeona wakulima wengi, they've had a hard time getting the subsidy fertilizer, which is a program by the government. And some of their sentiments were, sisi tutapanda tu hivyo bila mbolea, mahali tatupatia ni sawa tu. Those are comments that we've had, you know, and that's really mali uwezo wao umewafikisha, because now if you tell them to go and buy the other one, which is not subsidized, that's 6,500, and it can be a bit too costly for our small-scale farmers. So with that mentality and practicing that in the farm, is this what we will probably be seeing at some point in this season? Kwa sababu hatujaeka mbolea yoyote.
Penye tuko, the results are predictable. So kulingana venye umeona kwa hizi mahindi tumekuja nazo, then the farmers will suffer at certain points. But from the professional point of it, what we tell the farmer is that make sure hata kama hutaweza uko na eka mzima, choose a certain portion, then feed it kulingana na uwezo wa mfuko yako. Hiyo nafasi umefanya hiyo production, utajikuta uko na mahindi ambazo ni kubwa, iko na quality mzuri na ambazo utaweza kusustain.
Kwa uko na 5 acres, ongelesha ule mkulima ambaye ako na 5 acres na hii changamoto ya fertilizer imempata, afanye aje hesabu yake? Sasa
mimi nikimwadvise, nitamwambia kama uko na uwezo wa kulima 1 acre, yeah? So, tunajua 1 acre ya mahindi tuseme ni within the highlands ama uko Uasin Gishu, uko na Trans Nzoia, you can be able to produce up to 40 bags per acre. Let's feed that 1 acre and we will be able to have very good harvest.
Right.
Yeah. Naam, tukishikilia papo hapo basi umesikiliza kutoka kwa mtaalamu wetu, anatuelekeza sana, angalia aina tofauti ya mahindi, kuna urefu tofauti kabisa. Mtazamaji, tupo darasani tunasoma na bingwa hapa anayefahamu sana masuala ya mahindi. Tukirejea ningependa sana kusikiliza kutoka kwake akituambia kwamba nikipata mahindi kama hayo katika shamba langu tutajaza magunia mangapi, na tukipata kubwa zaidi ni magunia mangapi, tufanye nini, tuelekee katika magunia mengi ambayo tunahitaji kule shambani. Twende mapumzikoni kidunya, basi tukirejea kungali kuna mengi, usikwende popote. Bila shaka unaendelea kutazama kipindi cha Kenya's Gold, kipindi ambacho kinakufunza mengi kabisa kuhusiana na kilimo, kipindi ambacho kinapewa udhamini mkubwa kabisa na benki ya Cooperative. Kama wewe ni mkulima unahitaji mkopo, basi nafasi kwako kujiunga na benki ya Cooperative utimize shughuli zako, na bila shaka ni kupatia nafasi ufahamu mikopo mbalimbali ambayo unapata kule. Kuna moja tunaita invoice discounting. Tuseme mwasilisha order ama mwasilisha invoice na uko katika hatua ya kusubiri malipo yako, benki ya Coop ina uwezo wa kukupa mkopo hadi asilimia 80 ya invoice ili uweze kuendeleza shughuli zako ukisubiri malipo yako. Bila shaka LPO financing ni mkopo wa pili iwapo una zabuni au tenda ya kusambaza mazao yako shuleni, hoteli au taasisi ila una hela tosha, basi kupitia LPO financing Bank itakupa hadi asilimia 60 ya mkopo ili ufanikishe oda yako. Bila shaka mtazamaji na mkulima, hapo ni nafasi bomba kabisa kubomborusha na kupata nafasi ya mikopo kupitia benki ya Cooperative. Kipindi cha Kenya's Gold kinapewa udhamini mkubwa kabisa na benki ya Cooperative. Kwako Ngina.
Great, thank you so much, Terer. And we are here still with our guest, Mr. Bernard Ndungu from Fadhili Africa, teaching us a lot more when it comes to soil health and the repercussions on your maize when you don't take care of your soil. Now, Mr. Bernard, you know, we've been talking about how excess or consistent use of chemical fertilizers is part of the reason as to why our soil is degraded right now. And I'm wondering, you as an expert, you come to my farm, upime mchanga, uone tayari ni mchanga ambayo imekuwa depleted over time. I like nitrogen, I lack phosphorus, and then again you go ahead and recommend for me a chemical fertilizer. Are we working backwards? Are we looking for quick fixes? Because then again, it boils down to the conversation of we are trying to regenerate our soils. So how do you make sure that you're marrying the two, the chemical fertilizer, the organic fertilizer, and also just improving the soil health in general?
Asante Gena for that question. Na ukiangalia results zetu, huwa tunafanya vitu mbili. Kitu ya kwanza tuseme tumepata mchanga iko acidic, we advise you how to handle the acidity in the soil. But also above this one, we also encourage you kuweka manure. Na manure ni ile manure yenye imeiva kabisa. And the purpose, manure is a very important thing that we need to add to our soil because it has, I normally say there are 4 major reasons that we need to take care in the soil. Kitu ya kwanza, manure inakusaidia kuweka moisture kwa muda mrefu sana kwa mchanga, and that means that your crop is going to enjoy sufficient supply of water. Right. Number 2, it also acts as a buffer. Buffer means wakati tumeintroduce these chemical fertilizers, the pH or acidity haiendi juu ama haiendi chini. So ina stabilize. Manure helps the soil to stabilize. Right. Then number 3, it also helps in making sure that we have the right microorganisms in the soil, because when we tukiongeza a lot of chemical fertilizer tunaharibu microorganism mpaka zile mzuri zenye zinafanya organic materials decay. So we allow the microorganisms to thrive.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your recommendation is not entirely the chemical fertilizer?
Yes, it's a hybrid.
All right.
It's a hybrid of both organic and also inorganic material.
All right.
So,
thank you.
Tukienda kwa swali langu, lakini naomba wakati unanieleza unasonga tu kwa sababu ya muda. Yule wa kwanza atakuwa na magunia mangapi mpaka mwisho? Kwa haraka tu alafu tuende kwa udongo ambao unafaa kufanya practical.
Ya huyu mkulima wa kwanza mwenye alikuwa na mahindi ziko na aina hii atapata karibu gunia 4, 4 bags per acre. So tukianza kufanya rectification ndio unaanza kuona inaongezeka, mazao yake inaongezeka. Tunakuta hapa ni kama gunia 7, gunia 8. Alafu as we continue rectifying the soil, then we get there around 12 bags. And here we are already around 18 bags, 18, 20 bags there. And that tells you that huyu mkulima ameanza kupata faida.
That's in an acre.
This is 18 bags per acre, 18, 20 bags per acre.
Na ule mkulima mwenye amefanya kazi yake vizuri, optimum, how many bags are they supposed to get in an acre?
They are getting over 40 bags.
All right.
And this is the genetic potential. Watafiti wa karo with the seed breeders zenye wanaweza kupata mpaka kwa zile shamba zao zenye wanafanyia utafiti wao.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So very quickly, talk to us about, these are the repercussions of lack of certain nutrients, either the macro, micro, or the trace elements. But then again, we have the aspect of, for maize to do well, it has to be grown in slightly acidic soil. Yeah. 5.6 to about 6.8. Yes. So just in case I grow my soil in a completely acidic soil,
yes,
what will I see in my yield? How will that play out?
Yeah. What happens wakati acidity imeongezeka sana, it actually locks the elements. So unaweza kuwa uko na zile nutrients kwa mchanga, but because of the acidity, they are locked. The crop cannot uptake them. So definitely you find yourself with a deficient supply of nutrients.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Sasa naomba sasa tupime. Kuna mtu anangoja sana ajue namna inapimwa kama mimi pia hapa.
So kwa our work sample tumeshachukua, tulisema ndio hii, tumechukua different places, tuko nayo hapa. Tuko na hii kifaa inaitwa the soil scanner. Soil scanner is a digital equipment. It works hand in hand with a phone because it is operated through an application that sits on the phone, which we connect to here with a Bluetooth. So the first thing that the scanner does, we first connect scanner with the application on the phone. Then after that, we calibrate. Calibrating means we want to erase. We erase any information that was kept in the app using the yellow side, and you also test using the white side. We test the stability of this machine using the yellow side, and after that, yellow side is this one for the cap. Then after that, the application will tell you to put the scanner on the soil. Let's say that we are scanning this sample, so we'll be able to put it there. And from the application, we'll do 3 tests. So this machine will be guided. It will take information from there because it uses near infrared light kuchukua any information. Ukiangalia kwa scanner hapa, tuko na electrodes za kupima EC, and then we also have cameras and a source of near infrared light to be able to take that information, put it on the phone.
Right.
From the phone, then we synchronize with our server, and on synchronizing, within less than 15 minutes, we will be able to generate a report that will come to the phone, and that report we can be able to print it. We can print it in an A4. We can send it. We can print a report like this one that will tell us what are the deficiencies, how do we need also to break it down so that we supply the crop the right nutrients at the right time.
Right,
yeah.
Great. So let's say we are looking at nitrogen. Is there kiwango ambayo ikipita, then you have excess nitrogen in the soil? You have to control that. And also now the phosphorus and the potassium. Please talk to us about the limits. Is there a cap? Isipite wapi?
Yes, kuna hizo limits ziko because every crop has its quantities it require.
Right.
And they also, you remember, for people, we have people getting obesity. When we come to crop, then you also have adverse effect. And remember, as a farmer, we feed a crop in line with the produce that we want to get. Okay? If we are harvesting leaves, like we do in tea leaves, then we feed it to get leaves. So we give it more nitrogen. If we are producing like what we have in maize, then we feed it with more phosphorus. The ratio of nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus varies so that we can be able to increase the production of what we want to achieve.
All right.
Yeah.
And mkulima anakuwekea kwa hiyo bag.
Sasa mkulima akileta sample, there are 2 things we encourage farmers to, that you can see. We encourage the khaki bags. We encourage these khaki bags. Remember, soil is living. It also has a microorganism. And especially when the soil, we wanted to test it for diseases, would want it to have it in khaki bags. The other farmers who would want to bring it on polythene bags, we have these zipper bags. But when you put here, you need to perforate so that air can also get in. If you don't have that, then you will have issues, especially when you are testing for diseases and you put it here, we'll have issues with your sample.
Right.
Sawa. Tumetoka hapo kwa karatasi mbalimbali. Hapa kuna vijisanduku.
Yes.
Nieleze kidogo kuhusiana na hii sasa, na pia kuna hii.
So wakati tunapima,
It looks like a toothbrush.
yeah, it looks like a toothbrush, but from one sample to another, what we do is that we make sure that we remove any particles, any soil that was there from the previous sample. No
Right.
cross contamination.
Right.
Hatari iko wapi wakati umekutanisha udongo wenyewe? Ukichukua una ukutanisha.
Sasa tuseme hii ni sample ya shamba moja, hii ni sample ya shamba ingine, tunafaa hatufai ku mix. We should make sure that we wipe everything out and then we avoid cross contamination. Now these machines are securely carried in these boxes, so that we can be able to move to different places, to different farmers easily, and also make sure that it's a digital thing. We secure it from damage, from rain, or even from anything that may adversely affect the scanner.
Unajua unafaa kuificha vizuri because in movies
Yes.
put money there. Mtu anaweza kucha atake kuiba kifungua za mashine, alikuwa anadhania ni madolari. Right,
Sasa wakati tunatoka hapo kwa uchale wangina, nimeweka hapa. Safari yangu inaelekea wapi nikishaweka hapo, kwa sababu mtu asini attack, kuna mahali naelekea ni wapi?
Hii tunatumia wakati tunaenda kwa mkulima, tunaiweka kwa bag vizuri, usiachilie watu waione nje. At least for your safety, for the safety of the gadget, it's a bit expensive, so it's quite an investment.
Kuna swali ambalo natafuta sana, wakati nakwenda kwa lab ni wakati gani sasa ndio nipeleke nifanye hiyo test yote, ama nafanya yote katika shamba?
Hii kazi yote wakati umeona mtaalamu wetu amekuja kwa shamba, amekuja na hiki kifaa kiwe kwa box, atakuwa kumalizia kazi yako yote. Ile kitu utabaki nayo ni kwenda pale kwa cyber to print sasa hii report, lakini kwa WhatsApp already uko na PDF report, you can print it.
Great. So as we wind up this conversation, maybe in less than a minute, Mr. Bernard, I'd like to hear from you. From what you are seeing with our farmers now, are they becoming more receptive to doing soil testing? Is it something that they are now doing more than it used to be done back in the day? And then secondly, when you are speaking to different farmers, pengine in areas like, coffee and tea, where machines are used for weighing, they'll come and tell you there's a lot of faulty machines that are being used. How can we guarantee accuracy of the results from these machines so that mkulima wetu akikupea, then they're guaranteed that what they're getting is accurate?
So from as you have seen, this is a digital equipment, and two things happen. Niongea kuhusu ya kitu inaitwa calibration. So before we do every sample, we calibrate the machine. And we have two calibrations. The manufacturer uses the yellow side. So the moment our staff goes to a farm, there is a signal or there is information that goes back to the manufacturer. And the manufacturer gets even to know that our machines have an issue before we even get to know. So there is a continuous monitoring of scanners within the country to be able to give farmers reliable results.
Right, thank you.
Bila shaka tumeshukuru sana kwa kielekezo chako ambacho tunakihitaji kule shambani. Sikujua kwamba inabidi wewe mwenyewe utafute mbinu mbadala ya kufanya testing kwa udongo wako. Bila shaka ni semeje, sasa tunakamilisha awamu yetu siku ya leo, nikikutakia kila la heri. Ni sema hivi, salia na Mwenyezi Mungu, kumbuka tatimiza ndoto, tutafaulu sana. Jina langu ni Emmanuel Terero.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Bernard, for making time to be with us today and the great insights that you have shared on the program. We believe our farmers back at home have benefited from this conversation. A very big thanks to our farmer in our feature, Noreen, all the way from Bungoma, and of course, our viewers for choosing to be with us every single day of the week. We say a very big thanks. Now, because of time, we will not do the farm joke, and also Agri News. We'll share that tomorrow. So please make sure that you book another date with us. Na pia msituhande, atuna do. You see, safe ya pesa. We just have machines in there. Thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name is Violeta Ngina. Good